Audio. Okay, audio's good.
Yeah. Yes.
All right. We
Oh,
are.
Gems David July. There it is. Okay.
Whew.
We good.
So I went downstairs and Ripley's like, I gotta go to the bathroom right now. I'm like, oh God. All right.
So you drank her
Damn it,
piss?
dog.
No, what?
Like, you should be doing other things right now, like alerting the news. Sorry, show's canceled. Our dog can talk.
I'm gonna drink its cum.
What? Jesus Christ, John.
What is that?
You know we're on right now.
Yeah.
Cool.
And this is the point where I bring up the clip from the 100 episode free play jingle. What else is there to say other than John drank dog cum?
There's a reason I said all that. Shit.
All right.
Hi, Mr. and Mrs. Regan.
Who's ready to
Yeah.
start the show?
Funny story about
Show
high
is
school, Mr.
born
Regan.
ready.
We drank mojitos. John drank something else.
All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Welcome to Game That Tune.
Oh yeah, what's going on, everybody? It's Game That Tune back in the house yet again. It's your boy John Harrington here, and we got John Regan with us. Say hey.
Hey.
We got David Fleming. Say hey.
Hey.
And we got Jesse Moore. Say hey.
Hey.
Hell yeah, fellas. It is Game That Tune episode 126. And man, if you're just joining us here on Game That Tune, you got a lot to catch up on. But what we do around here is we listen to video game music. We've each brought 3 songs from a game. We're going to try and guess the games based on the songs and a little bit of trivia, goof off, have a lot of fun. And the winner at the end of the night gets to play their bonus tunes and pick a theme for the next episode. And our winner last week was the fantastic David Fleming. And David,
Hey.
what is the theme for tonight's show?
The theme for tonight's show is games in which you can select a character from multiple playable characters.
Fantastic. There's more than one of those. There's a few games out there with a few different characters. I'm looking forward to it. I was, as we were preparing for the show, I honestly was hoping that you would really narrow it down and give us games in which you were forced to play multiple characters. Because the Metal Gear fan in me wanted to bring Metal Gear Solid 2 tonight, and just talk about how salty everybody got when it made you change characters. I didn't do it because you didn't get to select it. So selection might factor into the theme a little bit, but really just multiple playable characters. It's going to be a good time. So yeah, it's going to be great. We got 4 great games. We got a fan request in here, which is also great. And I think, David, since it's your theme and your night, I think you should select who we're starting with.
I think we should select whoever John went ahead and loaded up. So
he's
John,
he's on the Mortal Kombat menu and he pressed up and start. It's a random select. What do you know?
Game
John,
one.
game 1.
And you don't stop. And you don't stop. You proceed. Cause this is what you need. And you don't stop. And you don't stop. You proceed. Cause this is what you need. And you don't stop. And you don't stop. And you don't stop. You proceed. And you don't stop. And you don't stop, you proceed, cause this is what you need. And you don't stop, and you don't stop, you proceed, cause this is what you need. And you don't stop, and you don't stop, and you don't stop, you proceed. and you don't stop. And you don't stop. You proceed. Yep, yep. 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 Yep, yep.
All right. So this game has a few unique features that makes it hard to port to home consoles. One feature in particular is that it has a doodad to blow a puff of air on you when you lose. I don't know if it helps, but in addition to having the puff of air blowing doodad, it also uses a trackball, which makes it hard to port to home consoles. All right.
Well, that firmed up my answer.
All right, let's see some answers. We've got John with a blow me. We have David with Marble Madness and Jesse with butts. These are all incorrect. This is the irritating maze for Neo Geo.
What?
Okay.
Okay, number 1, fuck you. Number 2, fuck you.
Yeah.
This
I agree,
has
David. For once, you and I agree wholeheartedly on something.
when you start a game, you get to choose between one of two playable characters, male or female, and it has
God damn it.
no effect on the game whatsoever.
John, what a way to start us out.
With
So how
the
many
technical
Neo Geos do you have?
answers.
What was that, Jesse?
How many Neo Geos do you have?
0. And even if I had one, I couldn't get this for the Neo Geo home console because they never ported it. Because so this is a game where you use a trackball to move a ball through a maze, and you can't touch the walls. It's similar to Operation, right? You touch the walls, you get shocked. And when you get a game over, it surprises you with a puff of air in your face, which I think is great.
Why would they do
Very
that?
Japanese.
It is.
Oh, God. Yeah, man. You've greatly thrown me for a loop. What the hell?
It sounds
Of
like
all the
something that would be in a WarioWare game.
It does. Something where you have to tilt the Game Boy Advance and move a ball through a maze.
Yeah. Well, I can't believe they haven't brought back a game called The Irritating Maze.
I mean, of all the people to choose a Neo Geo game, like John was at the bottom of the list. I thought I would pick a Neo Geo game before Johnny.
Yeah, I don't know, man. You know, the fact this is Neo Geo is neither here nor there. I just, the what? I mean, how did you know about this, John? What is the story here?
My coworker has gotten very into this game lately and suggested it.
Okay. I can't even find like an English Wikipedia entry about this fucking game. Like, it's all in French. Like, what the hell?
I found some videos of people playing it, and it looks pretty intense. Some of those corners get very tight, and that trackball is not precise at all.
Nice. It's almost like the controls are so loose and imprecise, and the corners are so tight and the game so demanding that playing it would be rather frustrating.
I see what you did there.
Yes, this is
I think that's
frustrating.
the first game.
Yeah, exactly. The Irritating Maze is the sequel. It's that irritating sensation you have left on your hand from playing a dirty trackball game.
I feel like we should change Johnny's official Game That Tune nickname to the Irritating Maze.
Yeah,
No,
your mind Johnny's mind is a fucking irritating maze. Good lord.
I really like my title of the 95 Camry of the Game That Tune, and I'm keeping it.
Yeah, I mean, what were you before that? Weren't you before that? You were the Mario Tennis Ultra Smash.
The Mario Tennis Ultra Smash.
Yeah.
So yeah, you are the Mario Tennis Ultra Smash, the 95 Toyota Camry, and now the Irritating Maze of Game That Tune, as well as the absurd, incompetent Overlord or whatever. Like, you have too many titles now, John. I don't like it.
Yeah, and I do believe that this is based off of some kind of segment from a Japanese game show.
Of course
I had a hard time finding that info in particular. I found like one mention of that.
Fantastic.
Yeah, mostly it's about the mazes and the air blowing on you.
Cool.
Which I wish more, so this is a very late 90s arcade game to me because this is around the time that home consoles started getting very good, and a lot of the arcade games would have home ports, and sometimes the home ports would be better than the arcade releases, especially when you get into like Soul Calibur for the Dreamcast. I know that's only a few years later, but the Dreamcast version is better than the arcade version. So, I feel like there's an era where the arcades are trying to do shit to make them stand out more. And this is one of them. Like, oh, you have the little like puff of air that blows on you, and you got the trackball. You don't have a trackball at home, and the thing though is that the reason nobody has a trackball at home is because playing trackball games sucks ass.
It really does.
I wonder if this is around the same time frame that they made that. I know there's like a House of the Dead game where, it's a light gun shooter, but you actually carry your gun to multiple screens. Like, you have to move through a small section. Like, there's like 3 different screens, and you go from like room to room. And I wonder if this was made in the same time where it was arcades like, fuck, we got to keep people coming here. You can't do this at home, can you?
Yeah.
Nobody has
Oh,
3
God.
TVs.
Elvis Presley did.
Well, yeah, but he was the king of rock and roll,
Yeah.
You have
And
2 TVs. You must
The
be
king of
rich.
trackball games, I think, is what he was as well. He was, really that guy.
Elvis Presley was a lot of things to a lot of people.
Yeah, and, he was very good at the Irritating Maze.
He had a lot of nicknames too. Wait, is Johnny Elvis?
Am I a trackball
He might
game?
be. Yeah, Johnny is.
I think we should stop talking about the Irritating Maze and instead talk about Elvis Aaron Presley, the king of rock and roll.
Yeah, I was going to say Johnny's the fit Elvis of Game That Tune. No.
No, Johnny is the Vegas Elvis.
Hey!
Hey,
God damn it.
that's rough, man.
Hey, Vegas Elvis was a comeback, you know.
You're not
Elvis was a
wrong.
comeback.
That's awesome. Johnny, anything else on this goddamn fucking game that you've
No, we
chosen
can
for
we can
tonight's
move
show?
right along.
That's good. That's very good, John.
Oh, I have my soundboard.
Game 2.
There it goes.
I'm irritated. All right. So this is our fan request for the evening. This comes to us via Twitter from frequent requester at the Sigma Omega. Thank you for the request. Fantastic request. And a little something about this game. The first letter of the names of each of the playable characters in this game spells out the unique part of this game's title. Awesome. Anybody need me to spell anything or give you some character names? You guys feeling good?
I feel pretty good.
Yeah, I feel good.
If everybody has their answers confirmed, then I'll tell you. The characters in this game are, of course, Ophelia, Cyrus, Tressa, Olberic, Primrose, Alphen, Therion, and Honnet. Johnny, what's your answer, Haas? You're holding this up. Johnny said Iggy's Wrecking Balls, which is unfortunately incorrect because it is Octopath Traveler. And Jesse and David both get it right.
Dang it.
For
There it goes.
for like
Come on,
a
son.
brief second, I thought like, wait a minute, didn't we use this game? And then I realized that we had not yet. So
Yes, not on Game That Tune official, but you should check out that Game That Tune Gems. There might be a couple of tracks, choice cuts from Octopath Traveler available to our patrons. Patreon.com/Game That Tune. Go check it out. So Octopath Traveler is pretty fucking dope, y'all. David, did you ever? You said you played the demo a little bit. Did you ever follow through and get more into it, or no?
well, see, here was the mistake. I got the demo because I never grew up with the Super Nintendo, so I basically missed out on like golden age JRPGs. So it's like I should play this and everything. So I got the demo and I was looking at all the characters and like who I should select and play as. And there's a voice actress named Christina V, who I like a lot. She was Sarabella in Skullgirls. And I was like, oh, she voices a character. I should play that character. That'd be awesome. The character she plays is Ophelia, who is like the cleric mage, which is a really boring class to play. So it's like
never start with the cleric.
like this.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's like I
man.
don't see why everybody likes this game. And then everyone said, "Who'd you start with?" Ophelia.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you picked the wrong choice.
Absolutely, you did. I don't even know what I would have done if I had started with her. I mean, maybe it's just because I'm a classic, RPG kind of guy. But it's like you got to start with like the warrior or the thief or the hunter. You definitely don't start with the cleric because who the hell are you gonna heal? Like, what are you gonna do when there's only one person in your party and you're a cleric? Like, how the fuck are you supposed to win fights as just a cleric? And that's to say nothing of her story, which is not, nothing knocking my socks off. But, then again, one of the things that I've noticed about Octopath is none of the stories so far have knocked my socks off. They're fine. There's one exception that is head and shoulders above the others so far. But in general, it's just kind of like, okay, yeah, this is really good RPG gameplay and a really beautiful world to explore. And they got 8 characters, and you can mix and match your party. You can swap them out at will. And there's plenty of stuff to do. But, like, their actual stories, they're not like super deep. It's it's all pretty straightforward. I mean, I start out with Honnet. She's the hunter. She's from like the woods, and she has a giant beast with her, and her her master goes off to he gets like commissioned to hunt for somebody else to hunt this giant monster, and he goes missing, and so you have to go after him. Pretty straightforward. It's not there's so far not a whole lot of twists. I'm through like the second part of her chapter. Nothing really twisty so far, but who knows? Maybe there's a big twist at the end. I'm not really sure. But
when
she's
do you get
fun
to
as
play
fuck.
as an octopus?
See, that's the problem. It's not Octopus Traveler.
Shit.
The word puss just doesn't look good on a box in any way. Like
I disagree.
it just it's not the market they're going for, man.
Oh
but
God, what was its name? I'm trying to think
Octopussy.
the recurring boss from Final Fantasy. I think it started in Final Fantasy VI. It was basically Ultros, I think, like the giant purple octopus. Like,
oh yeah, that guy.
If ever there was a boss that needed a cameo in Octopath Traveler, it was Ultros.
That would be pretty epic. It'd be great to just see him like off in the background somewhere, like you're at the beach lands or whatever, and there's just like him chilling in the water. Like, all right, yeah, I see you there. But yeah, man, the game's fun. The gameplay's really cool. Like, it's the game of weaknesses and all that stuff, like all RPGs. But like, it's a game of like finding the character that you're fighting's weakness. Like literally on their little thing, you're facing off against characters, and they've got like little question mark boxes. And when you hit them with the right weapon or elemental attack, it'll show that. So to hit them with it again. And there's like a countdown meter. And if you hit them with enough things that they're weak to, it breaks them. And then they don't get a turn on the next one. And you can like fucking wail on them. So it's a really fun, satisfying set of RPG mechanics. And, I'm really enjoying it. It's pretty cool. I'm trying to think of who else I've been playing as. Because, the hunter is really awesome because she gets to control beasts. Literally, she's got a giant cat that she can summon, and you can capture weak enemies. So it kind of turns it into Pokemon. You can capture things and use them later in battles, and it's pretty dope. Therion the Thief is fucking great because you can steal from like everybody in the game, and like it's the great way to get a lot of items. Like just you rack up all your healing items with the Thief.
See, that's one of the things. Like, I like every character has their own skill because I've heard that there's, I believe it's the merchant. There's a merchant who can like buy anything off of anyone, and you'll just be wandering on the overworld. And if you're playing as them, they just find money on the ground. Like, oh, here's 100 gold.
Yeah,
cool.
Exactly. Yeah, I haven't actually started the merchant chapter yet. I've only played with 5 characters, so I've done the cleric, and her skill, she can like guide people with religion or something. It's like, hey, come join us, and you can call in an extra person to battle. I just started the warrior, and his thing is you can just challenge anybody in a town or like wherever. It's like, yeah, come on, let's do it. And you can just like beat the shit out of them. If like they're standing in the way of like a locked door, you can just knock them out. And then I've got the thief and the hunter. And then the one who for me is head and shoulders above the rest, Primrose, the dancer, is fucking dope, and I am thoroughly enjoying her stuff. You find her in the desert town, and she's basically a prisoner in like a whorehouse. But it's not explicitly stated that it's a whorehouse. She's like there, and she's a dancer, and she's like the best dancer around, and people pay her a lot of money to do it. And she's got an abusive pimp, but it doesn't get like explicitly into like whoring or like anti-pimping laws until her story really kicks in, and you have to escape from the guy, and you have a battle against this pimp. And it's one of the crudest things I've ever seen in this game's rated T for teen, by the way. And this guy in the dialogue leading up to Primrose's like, first chapter battle where she escapes the desert town and goes off on her own, basically tells her to blow him. Like it's like, yeah,
I got 2 words for you.
He doesn't just say suck it, but he says it in eloquent fantasy language. It says, use that pretty mouth of yours on me, and if it should please me, then maybe I will spare you. I'm like, God damn.
See, I thought you were just gonna say like elegant fantasy language. He said sucketh thee.
Yes, exactly. I command thee to sucketh. But and then she says like, go pleasure yourself, and then like the fight goes down. I'm like, dude, this chick is my chick right here. I like this. Like, get up here and blow me. No, go blow yourself. That's it. We're throwing down. Like, this game rules. So
when do you get to play as an Octorok?
ooh, see that also, they don't pop up even in the Riverlands.